chairs of this committee. This committee was just combined, parks and libraries, which is really interesting because it's sort of how the city also sees these two groups. When we do city surveys, they had you guys bunched together, which was interesting. Didn't know that. But I want to introduce the two chairs, Kavish Batra, who is from Parks Department. He was one of our chairs from Parks last year. I want to introduce Martha Tucker, who came to us from the Libraries Committee. And then you guys might be familiar with what I would call our Parks Chair Emeritus, Jean Silva, who has been around and gives us a proper beating when we need it. She seems to know everything we need to know about parks. And so she's with us as well. Tonight, it's exciting. We're going to get a presentation on the park that's coming in down on 62nd. I wanted to just make one note. Sometimes when we get these presentations, there's opportunity for input on the actual design. This is not at that stage. This is beyond that stage now. Design, for lack of a better term, is frozen. So I think tonight, when we're looking at this presentation, which again, very exciting, it would be great if we could think about like community impact, think about the project and questions we may have about how it will be rolled out, things of that nature. And then any questions you have about the design so that we can better understand it. So I think that might help us sort of think about how we're gonna approach what we're looking at tonight. So unless there's anything else, Martha or Kavish, is there anything else, or should we just hand it off to Parks? It's up to y'all.
In the constraints of times, and I totally appreciate their presence here, why don't we hand it off to Parks? Thank you so much.
Perfect. Kavish, are you with us?
Oh yeah, I'm on board. That sounds good.
Okay, then Parks, take it away.
Okay, hi, good evening. I'm going to do a little intro and then I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Adrian Wermchuk. And I wanted to introduce all the Parks folks. I'm sorry, I haven't used WebEx in a little bit of time, so just bear with me. But so my name is Meira Berkauer. I'm the Chief of Staff to the Queens Parks Commissioner, and it's good to see some folks that I've known for many years, such as Jean. So it's good to see you. I'm joined tonight by from my staff, Alex Sokol, and then from Parks Capital team, we have Jim Matusis, who's Director of Landscape Design for Queens, and Adrian Wermchuk, who's the project manager. And also from Parks, we have Mia Dupas, who's the regional manager for districts 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And those coordinate with the community board. So basically it's community boards 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Under her, she has different managers. Such as Ron Taylor, who I'm seeing, who is the manager for districts or community boards 5 and 6. So that's who is joined here tonight. And yes, thanks for the intro. I missed some of it, but I heard a little bit about how you loved meeting with us. So I appreciate that. We love meeting with you as well. We were asked to do this presentation. It's normally we give a presentation at the schematic design. That's when you're able to give input. And this had been presented at the schematic design, but quite a few years ago. At that time, not only did we come to the community board, but we also coordinated with the school. And so we're happy to come back here, and we are going to focus, we're going to give you the overall design, like show you exactly what we're going to be putting there. But since we're in construction now, I thought also we added some slides, like 1 or 2 slides that I'll come in at the end after Adrian gives the presentation, just to discuss how it might impact you now and what we've been thinking about, and just the coordination with the school. and nearby parks you might be able to use during construction. So I'm going to turn it over to Adrienne to give the presentation on the design.
Thank you. And I believe I can share it. Let's see. I also haven't done WebEx in a while. Screen one and share. And I hope you're looking at the presentation. Yeah? Good, 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 good. And I'll even put it in full screen mode, even better. Okay. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to present this project to you tonight. My name is Adrienne Waremchuk. I am the current project manager for this project that is now, like you've been told, started construction. Playground 62, we initially had this community input meeting in 2020, so it's been a while since that meeting and the CB6 schematic design review, which was the year later. So it's I'm glad to be able to share it with you today as we're moving into having it built. So the site goals, like with any site, we want to provide a safe, accessible playground, accessible entrances, upgraded play equipment and play value for the school and the neighborhood. Lots of play opportunity and experiences for all ages and abilities, and enhancing the environmental amenities of the site. The site, I think you're all aware, is located in Queens, adjacent to the LIE at Yellowstone Boulevard and 108th Street, and not a flood risk site in a residential community next to the school. A few other playgrounds are in walking distance of this site, which is good news. While we're reconstructing it, there are several options within a 5 and 10 minute walk. And so moving into the site itself, I'm showing you the tree inventory. All of these trees will be preserved in design, some beautiful mature London plane trees. The existing conditions, we are only working on the playground, not the multi-purpose play area. So this site, the limit of the design is in this rectangle. I think you can see my hand moving around the screen, I hope. This is the project site. And then to the left is the open asphalt field, the multi-purpose play area with the basketball and baseball area. This is PS 22 building. And then this corridor outdoor walkway will always be open during the project, the construction of the project. But things to know about the site, the existing conditions, the entrance right now on 62nd Road has a steep ramp that's not accessible right here. That's the main entrance from 62nd Road. There's a portal behind the backstop of the baseball area, which isn't really accessible either. And then there's a gate from the school into this area that is surrounded by a fence for school use during school days. So, and then play equipment and swings and the public restroom building, which is not, we will be providing accessibility to the entrances, but not reconstructing the building itself. So some pictures of the ramp that I just mentioned, that's very steep, coming down to the flagpole next to the restroom building, and the restroom building next to the fence and the portal by the backstop. Play equipment. This is the play area that is primarily for school use. And this is the walkway between the playground and the school that will remain open during the entire term of construction. And the rest of the play equipment and open pavement area with one little spray bollard. Everything's a bit outdated and ready to be renewed with wonderful new exciting equipment, and we'll address drainage conditions. And this view on the right is from the ball field and multipurpose play area toward the site, but this is not part of the project. We are not reconstructing this area. So site analysis, like I said, there's some accessibility issues, outdated play equipment, swings and play equipment, and a little bit of that pavement subsidence issue here along 62nd Road. These are stairs down and the corridor around the school, and this portal will remain open as well during construction. So here's the schematic plan, and it's a very exciting and beautiful plan designed by one of our most talented in-house designers here at Parks. And so what this plan provides is a new entrance. We're relocating the entrance here, and the entrance is a combination of an accessible ramp down and stairs down into the site. And the ramp and stairs are embracing a spray area, which has a few playful elements, both coming out of the wall from the ramp and from the ground, and some seating and colorful pavement. On the sidewalk, we're providing new trees, and down into the site, new seating, colorful thermoplastic pavement markings for ground play over in various locations throughout the site. New expanded plant beds for sustaining the tree root zones of the existing trees, and also providing new planting in a few locations, as you can see in the site, new trees, understory flowering trees. Pavement will be raised to make this building graded up to the entrances to make the entrance of the building accessible, and a wall-mounted drinking fountain on the building. We're maintaining the existing flagpole, updating the swings with new, like existing swing value, but new swing sets, and also accessible swings, and colorful safety surface. And over here is the 5 to 12 play equipment, and here is a 2 to 5 play equipment, benches and seating all around. And so the 2 to 5 play equipment does have a fence and the ability to secure this area for school use, just like in the existing site with the existing gate into this area. So this is a designated school day area of the playground, just like on the existing playground. And then the existing walkway is being maintained and won't be changed. It's still same access route and same portal here. Let's see, what else do we have? A nice section of the site showing the play equipment through the site from the street towards the school. Lots of good climbing and swinging and ground level play throughout the site. This is a fence diagram. So the fencing is just keeping the planted beds from getting too much disturbance from the play activity, and also fencing down along the stairs and the ramps for handrails, fencing around the swings. You can see the heights of the fencing is mostly 3 feet tall, and then the 6-foot chain link fence around this play area here. The existing 8-foot chain link fence and 4-foot steel fence and 16 fence will remain. Play equipment. This is the 2 to 5 play equipment. Lots of fun color in the play equipment. This is the palette of color of the play equipment. Even though the rendering doesn't show all these colors, these are the colors that will be throughout this exciting play equipment. And the safety surface will be compatible colors of blue and green with the sky blue, spring green, blue, and butterscotch and champagne colors of the play equipment. So lots of fun play panels, play activities, a little climbing and sliding, crawl through tubes, some balance beams, and little stepping up ladder. And so lots of exciting interactive play here in this play equipment. For the 5 to 12 play unit, more exciting play, but for older children, and a palette that's also very colorful, but a little bit more adjusted just to like differentiate between younger and older. So burgundy and blue rather than green and blue, I guess. A spiral slide and a straight slide, and climbing up and playing underneath, and tubes below, and lots of play value here. Lots of different play accessories along the play equipment. It's a very activated unit. Both units are. So, and we also have some play panels in a couple of locations in the site, and a playhouse. So, you know, nice little areas for quiet play with the play markings, and the little playhouses for some children like to have less active areas, more quiet areas. So these would provide for that kind of more relaxed play. And then the spray play area has some interesting components, a large leaf that sprays down, rains down, and then spraying kind of leaves, and then the ground sprays that spray up, and the wall spray that sprays out. So lots of fun spray activity. And then even when it's not spray play season, like in the colder months, there's still this kind of interesting pavement sculptural play area, seating area. It still offers some kind of play value and interest, even when it's not used as a spray play area. And it's a nice kind of arrival as you come into the site to walk around this activated space, or to go down the steps and straight into it. It's a real fun kind of node of arrival into the site. Site furnishings. This is just a precedent image of the concrete stairs shown on the previous slide. This is not the exact design that's going to be installed, but just to show this idea of concrete stairs coming down. The site furnishings are these kind of 64 World's Fair benches and backless benches, armed benches, and then game tables with chairs. And this is the wall-mounted drinking fountain and the Flushing Meadows light pole. Plant material, a nice, simple but colorful palette. The horn beams are tall, kind of fastigiate, narrow trees that will be located in more narrow locations along the fence, and honey locusts, and then the crab apples for more flowering interest in the lower understory trees that were shown on the planting plan, some shrubs, and some ground cover, a little colorful periwinkle. Sustainability diagram shows that we're making this site a lot more sustainable, a lot more permeable, with the tree and planted areas, increasing it from less than 2% to 17% of permeability, which is great. And this is the plan again, which we can speak to a little bit more, but I believe Miura wants to talk on the next two slides. So should I advance it for you now? And then we
Yeah,
can come
that would be
back to
great. So
this?
we'll go back and we could take any questions you have about the design, but I just wanted to briefly talk about, like, you know, the coordination and what's happening now during construction. So as Adrienne mentioned, the playground is sort of set like at a lower grade than 62nd Road. So there is a retaining wall along the playground. So what that means is that for construction access, the contractor, when we were looking at how we were going to construct this, the contractor has to access through the multi-purpose play area, that asphalt space. At the same time, we know, and we were working with the school in order to leave some part of the multi-purpose play area open to the school, so that way they could still have open space, a place for kids to run around during recess. So right now, what you'll see if you go to the site, I'd say like about a quarter of the site closest to the playground is fenced off. That's the staging area and the access. And then the rest of the multi-purpose play area just has the regular parks fence. While working with the school, we have again worked out that the multi-purpose play area will be open during recess. However, during the rest of the time, this multi-purpose play space is going to be closed, and that's because of egress reasons. I'm going to point or ask you to maybe point to the stars. The one that has the accessible entrance, it's blue, just above the staging area, that the school controls and is open and closed during school hours and then the other one the white one on the Yellowstone Boulevard side, that one's open. So the issue is, and NYPD brought this to our attention, that if we left this open to the public on a normal day, there's only one form of egress, that white star. So NYPD had asked us if we could, when school's not in when school's not in session, to have the multipurpose play area closed again, because there's only one egress when school's not in session. When school's in session, there's two egresses. There's the one that the school opens, and then the one out to Yellowstone Boulevard. So that's what construction looks like now. And then if you go to the next slide, I just wanted to point out again that while the playgrounds is in construction, you do have barrier playgrounds, which is like a catty corner, I guess. And we just completed reconstruction of the basketball courts, so they're new over there. And then a couple blocks after that, we have Real Good Playground that has public restroom and play equipment and spray shower. Similar with Barrier, also has the play equipment. But we're lucky enough that in this area, there are a couple of parks that are in walking distance that the public can use. Again, I know it's not ideal, but at least there is play space during construction. In addition, a lot of the design work that we did was in association with, again, the coordination with the school. Now that we're in construction, we also have to continue to coordinate with the school. So for example, part of the construction, we're going to be doing pruning of trees, those very large mature trees that are going to provide nice shade in the park. The principal had asked us to do the pruning next Thursday and Friday when there's the holiday and school is out. So we're going to do the pruning when there's no school, so that it shouldn't have impact on anyone there. The other thing is we're going to coordinate with the contractor to make sure that they're not doing loud construction noise during testing dates. This happens often when we have construction projects next to schools. We work with the principals to make sure that we're not constructing during test dates. I know there are going to be other things that come up, but Mia, who our regional manager, has been coordinating pretty closely with the principal, which we appreciate, and she'll continue to do that as things come up. Anyway, I just wanted to give you an overview of what it's going to look like for construction. Construction is a year. So it started a couple of weeks ago, so it should be over by September 2025. I guess maybe Adrian, if you want to put it back to the overall presentation, I'm sorry, the overall site plan, in case people have questions.
Yeah, and we can move to whatever slide anyone wants to speak to.
If you have a question, you can raise your hand. Kavish, if you want to call on people, usually WebEx in the panelist section shows you the list in order in which their hands were raised. That's kind of a nice tool. And Kavish, remember, we have some, I think there's 3 parent leaders from PS 220 that are here tonight that I will promote once we've answered the committee's questions. It's Giselle Mendoza, I've seen Rose Valerio and Rashida Howell. So once we've answered the committee's questions, we can promote them and have them ask any questions that we may not have gotten to, that because we're not at the school, we just haven't thought about. So go ahead, Kavish or Martha.
I mean, so far there's only Pedro and Edgar raising their hand, Edgar, would you like to ask your question? Or oh no, everybody's raising their hand. Oh wow. Okay, but yeah, let's start off with Edgar, please. No? Okay, Pedro?
There we go. Sorry, I was muted for a second. So let me
Okay, sorry.
start.
I got you.
Thank you, Kavish, and thank you, Parks colleagues, for making this presentation easy to digest. So my first question is about the slides. So I can see that there are lots of elements here, design elements that are intended to basically keep people cool as they enjoy the playground. But at the same time, like as someone who frequents playgrounds quite often with my toddler, I feel like the one thing that they want to touch the most, but they probably shouldn't when it's really hot outside, is a slide. So I want to know, are these slides going to all be made out of steel? And I'd like for you folks to tell me more about whether or not the city has like, is rethinking this approach of using steel all the time for slides, because I also travel to playgrounds outside of the city, and I do see other materials that don't heat up as much as metal in the the very hot days. So I'd like to learn more about the slide materials. Are they going to be steel? And then is there any talk in the Parks Department about reconsidering like the materials for slides?
Jim, do you want me to answer that, or would you like to answer that?
I can help out here. Basically, the slides are stainless steel. The reason why we use the material stainless steel because it's very durable and it's we have a lot of use in our playgrounds. We need to have them last for about 15 to 20 years, before they get reconstructed again. So that's one good thing. But we do realize that they do get hot. So as a major design feature, we make sure that those slides in the cardinal direction that they're facing north, so they're not facing south in the direct sun. And typically we try to make sure that those slides are in shade. So you can see that there's very big trees here that are going to provide shade. So but we take the whole safety thing very seriously, and I think Imelda did a good job here of making sure that the slides are within the proper cardinal direction, and the mature trees are going to shade the areas so well that in the hot summer months we're not going to have that problem. So, but yeah, we choose the materials to best make the playground usable. A lot of we've tried plastic slides before, and they're unfortunately not durable at all. And they just, with the use that we get in our playgrounds, they break. And we just have found that the stainless steel are much better material. So hopefully that answered your question. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I guess next we could go with Robert. Mr. Ash.
Sorry about that. Was taking a minute to unmute. Actually, that last question kind of answered mine. I was just curious. Jim, you mentioned that you turn over parks every 15 to 20 years. I'm assuming specifically the playscapes. How old is the current equipment that's coming out of there? And is the newer equipment got a better shelf life, and what's a bad time? Is 20, are there parks throughout Queens that are 25, 30 years old?
Absolutely. We try our best to renovate the parks as much as possible, but we probably have parks in the system that have been out there for 30 years, maybe even longer. So, we have a whole program where we look at that, and we make sure we get those parks renovated as fast as possible. And, a lot of, the whole decisions are based on, which parks get funded, but we work with our electeds, and we basically tell them, hey, look, these parks need to be funded because we need to renovate them. So, that's an average. It's not a hard set rule, but that's just average 15 to 20 years we renovate these parks. So
Thanks, man. Thank you very much. Very interesting.
no problem. And in terms of durability, the steel play equipment, I would say it's probably equal to what we put in the past, but through trial and error, we change the material to make it more durable. So I would say that the equipment that we put in today is better than what we put in before. So
so much.
All right, thank you. Let's go with Pedro. Also, I just wanted to address somebody's asking questions. We're gonna go with the committee questions first, and then we're gonna
Yes, committee
go with
questions first.
yeah. So we'll definitely address all your questions. But let's go with Pedro. He's also had his hand up for a while now.
Yes, thank you. Well, first I wanted to make a comment because actually one of the very first community board meetings that I attended as a just a person in the public, not even a public member, was actually this presentation several years ago. So it's interesting to see it finally come to fruition. I had two questions really. One is about the swings. I'm not sure. I don't quite understand the difference because I see it says like 4 strap seats. I'm not sure what that means. But mostly I also have a toddler, and whenever I go to playgrounds, there's usually a set amount of like seats that you can put little kids in, and then there's like seats that big kids can get in, and sometimes there's not enough seats, and then the big kids try to get into the small seats, and then it kind of just goes into chaos there. So I just wanted to get a clarification on the configuration of seats on the swings. And secondly, around the bathroom, I know that you guys are not touching the bathrooms, but I have noticed, again, as a parent, going into these playgrounds, a lot of the bathrooms are in very bad conditions. Like I've gone into some that don't have a changing table, or they just smell very bad. I don't know if you can speak about the maintenance on not just this playground, but also on other playgrounds.
Thanks. I'll take the first half of your question about the swings. So I'll just walk around the swings and try to identify what we have here. So on this side of the site, you see my hand is the 10-foot swings with the 4 strap seats. So those are the bigger swings for the bigger kids. This is what will accommodate larger bodies, right? Over here, it's a 7-foot high swing. It's a smaller swing set, and it has an accessible seat here and 2 bucket seats and 2 strap seats, but it's smaller. And so it will be more appealing and attractive to like smaller children and parents with babies and toddlers. And the big kids are probably going to be attracted to this area, which is next to the larger play equipment. So hopefully that will solve the competition issue that might arise, where the smaller play really is more attractive to smaller kids in the configuration, that a big kid's not going to fit in a bucket seat, so they're going to go over here, and it's a taller swing set, so they can go higher and farther in the swing, so it'll be more fun for them. So I hope that that'll work to this issue that you're concerned about. I think it should. And then as far as the second question, I think that goes to Mayra, maybe, about the bathroom. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually going to ask Mia and Ron to jump in. Generally, I think we do maintain the bathrooms at least once a day, if not more. I think it depends on where staffing is located. So in this site in particular, Mia or Ron, if one of you can jump in just to talk about this one.
Certainly. We will normally have a staff member, numbers permitting, who would be there at least 5 days a week, who would be maintaining the park, particularly the bathrooms as well. The 2 days that the staff member can't be there, it'll be cleaned by a mobile crew. So that would ensure cleaning 7 days a week.
But our restrooms do get a lot of use, and we do the best that we can with the resources that we have. In general, though, also restrooms have shelf life, and restroom reconstruction is very expensive. But if this is a restroom building that the community would like to get upgraded, because at some point the smells end up just sort of permeating into the stuff, and we do power washes, and we do we will do a deep wash, but at some point there needs to be a renovation. Please reach out to your local elected official to advocate for capital funding.
Thank you. Yes, I've been doing that, specifically talk about Rosa Sage, but Thank you.
Okay, we could go with Jean.
Hello, hello. Good to see everybody. Yes. Okay, I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out the ball field where it is located now. I'm trying to figure out, is it in this diagram of all what's being done, or that's over to the left-hand side, so that's not being touched at all? Okay.
Right, the MPPA represents multipurpose play area, and that's outside
Yeah.
of the scope of work.
I didn't know if it was going to wind up being into that area at all. I remembered clearly this presentation that was given out a couple of years ago. I was just wondering, that was like, oh, it was almost what, 5 years ago, 8 years ago? The original plan was put together on this?
This project was presented to the community board in 2021. I think the kickoff was 2020. The input meeting was fall of 2020, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's been 4 years since it
Yeah.
started.
I was just wondering about, a lot of things have happened in the last 5 years. So, how I was wondering, how is it affecting the plans or not? We losing anything from the original, or it's going same way that it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
This plan represents the intended construction of this project. It matches the construction documents that it's going to be built from. So it should be more or less exactly what you see here.
Is there a theme with this do-over or anything? Sometimes I know they have themes within the parks.
Jim, do you know if Imelda had any kind of theme? I think it's really more of a nice cohesive design. I don't think there's a theme, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's very heavily themed, but I know I am looking at the spray shower and I see the leaves, and I'm guessing that maybe has to do with just the natural elements within the park itself, but it's not very heavily themed.
Just curious. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think Edgar has another question. Maybe.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to go back to the slide about permeation. I'm not too kind of familiar with that design concept in relation to parks. Can I guess you folks kind of educate me more on like why this is important, and does it have anything to do with mitigating against like flood risk or something like that?
So, oh, did someone else want to answer? Oh, I'll go ahead. Okay. Okay. So for sustainable practices, as the list here identifies, these are the goals of creating a more sustainable site, a more permeable site. And the benefits of this kind of approach include this list here: increasing the surfaces, which will help deal with stormwater runoff. It goes into the plant beds. The plant beds capture the water. This is good. There's a nice balance of soil operations, which is the cut and fill. It's excellent for tree health, for sustaining existing trees, for promoting new trees, and for plant material, for habitat, for cooling the environment, all the benefits of trees, collecting dust from the air, and shade for cooling the playground. And then site appropriate resilient plant material that's also sustainable, that promotes this good ecology and good sustainability. So this is basically what this is all about, is a more sustainable and just a more sustainable site. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and is that percentage like every time there's a playground built, is there like a target to like have playgrounds meet a certain permeability percentage now? Or is that just like on a case by case basis, if depending on?
It's not a target, it's a goal of ours to basically make the areas more permeable to deal with the stormwater, to preserve the health of the trees, just like Adrian said. But yeah, we don't have an ultimate number because sometimes the program is so big and sometimes, it just doesn't work out, where you can't increase the permeability so much. But sometimes, in rare occasions, we actually decrease the permeability because maybe we are building on a brand new site. So we're actually paving on stuff that was green before, that has happened as well. So, it's not a hard, fast rule, but in the most part, when it comes to these very urban playgrounds, what we do have is stormwater flooding and that sort of thing. We try to increase the permeability. And for the major thing is that we've been doing this for years, even before everybody was talking about sustainability, because we wanted to, basically, preserve the health of the trees, and trees want to be in green space. And, a lot of times in the past, 50, 60 years ago, the trees were put in little pits, and, we found out that they don't like to be put in those little tiny pits. So we definitely increased the space that they need. So it's not a hard, fast rule, but hopefully that answered your question. Thanks. That was a good one.
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
Can we, a quick question. Can we get a
Yeah.
copy of this presentation? Yeah, be made available for us?
If that could just be sent to the community board office, that would be great.
Alex,
we
you're
can do
saying
that.
yes? Okay.
Sure, I'll
Okay.
do it first thing tomorrow morning, okay?
That's perfect. Thank you.
What's taking
Um,
you so long?
Okay, can I have a couple questions. Is that okay, Kavish, if I jump in? Is
Sure, I mean, I think that's fine. Martha, that's okay.
that okay, Martha?
Yes, of course.
A couple of things in regards to the multi-purpose space. You said it would be open during recess. And I know that construction work has started pretty early in the morning, but I also believe, having been at PS 220 in the morning when kids come in, I think they kind of use that space a little bit to sort of run around, play around until it's time to go in. Because kids tend to gather at the school early. Some go in for breakfast, some don't. Is that space also going to be open for kids to do that before school starts, or no?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
so
the whole idea
school
is that
has-
it,
sorry.
oh, sorry, Mia?
Yes, the
Were you
school
talking?
have access, so that lock will be, the school has access, so once they come in the morning, they'll open it and unlock it to make sure they have it available before students arrive.
Okay, so
arrival.
they can use the space as they see fit throughout the day.
Yes.
Okay, so I know that the space is smaller than usual. Do you expect maybe by the end of the school year, like by June, that you'll be able to sort of give them a larger playing space? Or will it still be the same size because of how you have to access the site?
So I'm assuming it would have to be the same size. The other thing is that the contractor is going to be responsible for, what's the word? Fixing the staging area. So we wouldn't want to decrease the space in the staging area and then have them do like a piecemeal reconstruction, because then it's going to look, it's not going to look good. And then there's also a chance of it, like when there's a lot of different pavements, there's a chance of it failing faster. So this is going to be the staging area until the project is completed.
Okay, because I was just thinking that I used to be a school leadership team member, so I keep thinking in my head, my kids are now freshmen in college, but I keep thinking in my head about every possibility that the school possibly could use for the space. And I'm like thinking that in June, kids get a little restless, and so sometimes PTAs put on field days. But since they're close to, like, let's say Real Good Park, could they work with parks to secure a permit at an alternative park that they can just walk the kids to do it sort
Absolutely.
of field day?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And it
That's
doesn't,
great.
and however, like we do field, school field groups all over our park. So we're very used to them, and yes.
Perfect. They said there's a walkway that you guys showed on the plans that kids will be walking through. It seems to be pretty near the site. Can I assume that there will be scaffolding and netting and so on to keep the kids safe as they walk through that walkway? Is that safe to assume?
Yeah, I neglected to mention that this existing fence, it's not going to, it's going to be covered with dust netting. There won't be scaffolding over the walkway, but there will be dust netting on the inside of the fence to keep the dust from going into the walkway from the construction area.
Okay.
And this blue striped is the walkway, and then the orange is the edge of the construction area and where the dust netting will go.
Okay, great. And then has there been an arrangement made with the school on days where you know it's going to be particularly noisy? I'm just thinking about young students that have sensory issues or maybe on the spectrum and loud noise, so that maybe the school can then work with a child who may be adversely affected by loud noise. So that on given days, because I'm sure there are days that are going to be quieter and days that are just going to be louder just because. So I'm just wondering if there's been an arrangement made with the school to sort of say, hey, the contractors are telling us that the next 3 days are going to be kind of loud, just so that they can plan in the space.
So as I mentioned, I was just gonna say,
Go ahead. Sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead, Jim, if you want to say something. And then
I was going to say,
Everybody wants to answer the question.
we have a constant presence at the construction site. We have a resident engineer who's assigned to the job. And so, we also, get look aheads from the contractor on the work that he's proposing to do. So, if we realize that, there's going to be like demolition of like pavement or something that's going to make a lot of noise, we can definitely, work with the school and notify them that, such and such a day they're going to be doing that type of work. So we do have the ability to coordinate. But Cadmir, sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. I was going to basically say the same thing, that,
Okay.
already we know that like testing dates are a particular date. But if there are other dates that, are going to be, if the school has concerns, like we do coordinate. And as Jim said, there is some, there's presence on site. So.
Yeah, I was just thinking about students that would be peppered throughout those classes that might be in a co-teaching class where you've got some kids with sensory issues, where loud noises can be very unsettling, especially kids with sensory issues. And then I wanted to ask about, I don't see anything, do you guys, I don't know if you guys do it or if DOT would do it, but bike racks? People bike to parks. I don't see bike racks on your plans. Or would that be something that DOT comes in and does when you're done? How does that happen? Will that happen?
So this project did not, I don't believe it included bike racks.
But I think you don't want people looping their bikes and hooking their bikes to this brand new fence.
Right.
Because it's probably sexy, shiny, and those, because when people don't have bike racks, they either nearest fence or unfortunately nearest tree, which is a really bad idea, but I've seen it in parks of all places.
It's something that we can look into possibly adding within this construction, or we
Even
can
just
work with DOT as well, because there's certainly space for a small bike rack here, and we'll figure it out. But that's a good comment. Thank you.
Yeah, even those little O-rings, those things don't take up.
That's what we use. So if we I'm surprised that maybe we didn't have it in this contract, but it's something that's available, something what we can try to get. So we'll work
Okay.
it out.
Great, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay, I'm gonna shut up. I can go all night. I'm gonna turn, I see that Pedro has a question, and then I know Martha, I don't know if you had any questions as co-chair. I don't know if Kavish, you had any questions as co-chair?
I apologize for interrupting. I was just checking. There are 2 bike racks. They may not be shown on this drawing, I just have to identify where they are on the contract documents, but I see them in the contract document
Oh, that's
list of
great.
items. So we do have 2 bike racks, and I'm sorry it took me so long to answer, but I found them.
No, because I went through and I was reading every little thing and I'm like, I don't see it. So thank you very much. I see Pedro and then Kavish and Martha, if you have questions before I turn it over to some of our PS 220 people. Any more questions from us except Pedro and then Kavish and then Martha?
Okay. Yes, definitely. Thank you for bringing up the bike racks. I don't know how I forgot about that because we do have a very fast growing biking population, and you see a bike with a kid seat every single day. Like every day we see a new one, and now you're starting to see the big ones, the bucket ones, which I love those. So definitely something to bring up. My question was mostly around. I'm sorry if you guys already answered, but when you said the construction already started, when was that? Was it this year or last year?
It started just a couple of weeks ago. It started actually
Couple-
the first week of school.
Yeah, so I'm a bit confused as to, and I'm sure you get this question asked a lot, but this proposal started in 2020, you said, was presented to this board in 2021, and now it's in construction. Why the long range? Why the long startup time? Is this normal for parks, or something happened at the site?
In 2020, construction was paused during the pandemic. And then, we had probably like, for Queens alone, I think we had over 50 projects in the pipeline to go through. And so construction was paused for so long, and then the city let the contracts out, and that was the backlog from there. So basically, we're just catching up now, believe it or not. So that's the reason why. So.
So the pandemic disruptions.
Yeah, it was a big construction pause that lasted for quite a while, and then we had both the work that was backlogged and plus the work that we were currently doing. We were trying to release those contracts, and we didn't want to overwhelm the construction industry. So then, that they were let out, and we had to do it, as slowly and as sustainably as possible to do it. And we're just catching up now here, but we're happy that we're out here and we're happy that we're doing it. And it just took some time. So
Thank you.
Kavish and Martha, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions about this park. Everybody asked some great questions, but I think I have some question about Horace Harding Park, but we'll talk about that afterwards, if that's okay.
Yeah. Martha?
First off, I want to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for your update on this. I'm trying to just make a note here. The anticipated completion of this project, if I'm correct, is fall of 2024 or 2025?
25. It's
Okay.
a 1-year construction. This is actually exciting. Normally we have to go through design procurement. So this is very unusual for us to be like, it's going to be done in a year. And so that's exciting to say.
Well, you know what? That date is exciting because we could actually smell it around the corner. So thank you for this. And I'm very excited about that. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to promote a few folks who requested to sort of join our meeting tonight. They are what I would call the most important community stakeholders because their kids go to school or they are the administrators. I'm going to now promote Principal Pizarro. I'm going to promote Rose Valerio, who is a PTA, and then Giselle Mendoza, who is also PTA. I believe she's the PTA president, so she's Queen Bee. I think I did Giselle. Giselle, where'd you go? I guess I have to do you again. Okay, give me just a second. My panelist. And then I don't see, and Jessica Maldonado, she's an AP. And then I think that's all I have because I think Rashida was here and had to probably hop. I get that. We all got a life. So now if you've logged on and you're using a phone and you want to ask a question, you have to do *6 to ask the question. But I'm just going to call first Principal Pizarro. Good evening. I think
Hi, good evening.
Good
We
evening.
do have our parent coordinator on. Her name is Zaraya Torres. I'm not sure if you see.
Okay, I will go back and take a peek.
Okay. So first of all, we're very excited that the playground will be upgraded. It did need some loving care, so this is a very exciting move for all of us. We just hope with the school that we're just in constant contact as things progress, and I know you've all spoke about it right here. I want to thank, I think Heather, I don't know your last name, but you had brought up many of the good questions that we wanted to bring up, which was, you know, just making sure we have communication, thinking and being mindful as far as, you know, the noise that is going to take place possibly on specific days. And if there's any way, even if someone just comes around to the front of the school and gives us a heads up, or we have to have conversation, our students are able to use part of the large yard outside, which is great, because if not, we wouldn't have anywhere else to play during recess. So that's also something that we all collaborated on. So again, thank you. And we're just hoping that this is going to be, you know, smooth trails. And then we're looking forward to having a beautiful playground at the end of this all. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for what you do at 220. I know that you advocated with this board. It's another committee's issue. That's transportation. But I know that we came to your school at one point to look at different ways to sort of ease traffic and ease the speed of traffic. So, you know, we're here to serve you. If you ever have a question and you're not feeling like you're getting what you need, you can always reach out to the community board. We have a wonderful relationship with our parks team, and we will do what we can to help you. So thank you for coming tonight. I have also, I believe, let me see. Well, we have the parent coordinator. Do you have any questions this evening? If you're talking, you're muted. Zaraya?
Yes, I am here.
Hi.
You so much. Thank you so much for having us here today. As the parent coordinator and as part of the parent piece, one of my biggest concerns for us as a school is that the piece that we use for our 3rd through 5th grade for dismissal area, it happens not to be cleaned. And I don't know why it's not being cleaned, but that's a big issue because it's either garbage that's coming from the construction site, or I don't know, but it's a lot of garbage in that area. And so one of the things that a lot of the parents have been asking is if that area could be cleaned up. There's another little issue also that a parent has brought up is that the children like to climb the fences. So what's happening is that either they're climbing onto the side where they put that barricade or that fence wall that divides our playground area, and either the children are climbing over. I've had more than one parent bring that up, saying that either they're leaving stuff, the kids are playing with it, and they're children, and I've addressed it to the parents. But what exactly are the things being placed in an area where the kids are not have access to grabbing and touching? Because a lot of the parents are saying that the kids are actually climbing and grabbing things from the other side. So I don't know if it's materials or what exactly is on the other side.
Zaraya, you have 2 questions. One was about the dismissal area and one was about climbing fences and climbing over other items around the area. The 3rd and 5th grade, the 3rd and 5th grade dismissal area, can you give me the cross section? Can you tell me exactly where that is physically? Like, is it Yellowstone? Is it 62?
So we are on Yellowstone and Horace Harding Expressway. It's the only entrance that we have that the kids are coming in, that the parents are coming in. The third grade parents come in through there, and
Mhm.
our fourth and fifth get dismissed, but that's the area where our third to fifth grade line up.
Have you had people complain before about the trash in that area, or is this new since the beginning of this project?
Well, the trash that we're seeing is not like the trash that we've seen prior. Prior, there was barbecuing, bottles, and all that stuff. This is
Sure.
not what we're seeing now. We're actually
Okay.
seeing like actual garbage, as if either they're throwing it over, or I just can't explain it. I know that it's very filthy. And our kids do use that area, and so it's either the Parks Department can clean it up,
Yeah.
because I think for safety matters, it should be cleaned up, but it's not the garbage that we've seen prior. It's
Okay.
a different type of garbage.
Okay, could you address these two issues?
Yeah, I mean, if there's garbage in the MPPA, then we'll have a crew go out. We should be cleaning that space, so it will be cleaned. I don't know if it's related to the construction, but we'll go in and clean it. In terms of the construction, grabbing the construction material, I mean, the fence is 8 feet high, and then it also has a mesh, which is pretty standard. So I guess we can ask the contractor not to lean anything against the fence if the kids are grabbing it that way. Maybe they can lean it on the other side. But we would also, because we're like using the space with the school, we would also just ask that people just keep an eye also on, on the kids. So we're going to obviously do our due diligence, but we also we need just a partnership to make sure that, if anyone sees anything that the kids should be doing, just to ask them to get down from the fence. But that's why we have the windscreen. Hopefully you can't climb quite as much with the windscreen. Yeah, I mean, we'll get out there and clean it.
All right, and regarding the trash, I'm wondering, a lot of times we find illegal dumping happening. And so because you're so close to the Horace Harding, I'm thinking that could also be sort of what's happening. And maybe with seeing the presence of a construction site, they may feel like it could be even more concealed. Maybe the construction crew can keep an eye out for that, because if they do identify this large amount of trash as not being project related, then maybe some coordination with sanitation to sort of see what's going on there, because this project takes long enough. We don't need the contractors cleaning up someone's illegal dumping. We need the illegal dumping to stop, if that is the reason. Is that something that you guys could just keep an eye on, just in case that's the cause? Because that's just insane.
Yeah, and of course, yeah, and you do make a good point. I mean, when people see construction site, they then bring their dirty old mattress and try to dump it at the construction site. It's because it's in the separate corner. I don't know what. We'll keep an eye on it. If the school can also keep an eye on it and let us know, and we can stay in touch and we can try and figure that out.
Okay, so thank you so much, Zoraya. And then we also have with us the PTA president, Giselle Mendoza. Giselle, do you have any questions for us tonight?
Yeah. Oh, thank you all for sharing that information with us. I know a lot of parents had a lot of concerns regarding the construction. I just wanted to kind of reiterate what Zoraya said. You'd be surprised. I've actually seen kids climbing over where the baseball pitch fencing is. So some kids can climb pretty high. And I had that concern as well, because I've seen kids, going over the fencing and grabbing pipe when they shouldn't be. It's hard to parent other children, right, that are not your own.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that we can do, like maybe additional barriers to dissuade the kids from climbing? I know they have those temporary plywood wall areas in some constructions. Maybe that's something that can be done, or what other barriers can
Right.
be placed for that.
Yeah, and I think they're going to look into that, which is a good point. I will tell you that I even saw with kids when my two went to Russell Sage, kids would climb up and they would even on their way home from school, they would climb onto the roof of some of these low set garages to the point where people were starting to put up fencing and so on to keep the kids from doing it. I don't understand what the temptation is. I mean, I used to climb trees as a kid, but I don't know that I ever was tempted to climb a fence, but it's a good point. Appreciate you reiterating that concern. And Giselle, thank you for all you do at your school. Being a PTA president is a lot of hard work. So I really appreciate it. Okay, I think the last person we have is Rose Valerio. She is also on your PTA and wanted to see if Rose had any questions.
Hi, actually, I'm the other assistant principal at the school.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
There's two. Okay, my apologies.
That's fine. It's okay.
There's two Valerios, I think, right?
Oh, okay. I'm
Go
not
ahead.
sure. Okay, it's fine.
Do you have any questions for us tonight?
No, I think you've answered most of them, and you know, I can't wait to see. I'm very excited about this project.
Good, excellent. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put you back on the other side. Wanted to make sure that we got to your questions. So if there's ever anything, I just want to reiterate to those of the members of the public that if we have ever if you ever have any concerns that aren't getting addressed, you can reach out to the community board. We are your advocate. We will be able to help. So just make sure to reach out to us on the same email you contacted to get access to this meeting tonight. You can do our email address at the office is qn06@cb.nyc.gov, and we will definitely get back to you. Martha, Kavish, do you guys have any additional questions?
I had a couple questions about Horace Harding Park. I just wanted to find out, so the children's part of Horace Harding Park was also supposed to be upgraded. Wanted to see if there's any updates on that you can give us, and also I heard that the portables that that have been placed at Horace Harding Park, they were supposed to be removed, and I wanted to see if you guys had any updates on that as well.
So Horace Harding, I don't know offhand about the capital project. I'd have to look that up on timing and what the project was. I don't know if capital, if you happen to know offhand.
Yes, it was donated by Karen Kaslowet before she left office, and she donated $3 million for that area.
Okay, I'm not saying that there's no project. It's just I don't have the information offhand. If nobody here knows, then we'll have to get back to the
It says
community board.
it's still in procurement currently.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could also check the capital tracker on New York City Parks website as well, just to see the status.
Yeah, so what that means is that, you know, the design is complete for Horace Harding. And then we're in the stage of the process where the contract is being reviewed by the city attorneys, and we're going to select the contractor, hopefully shortly. And it will be bid out shortly. So we're close.
All right, thank you for that. And any updates on the portables being, I think removed or moved somewhere else? I'm not actually sure.
I think that's SCA, so I don't know if we would know, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just from the little bit of information that SCA had for us today, is that they continue to work towards removing portables wherever they are and continuing to work with expansion projects. So that is a goal of SCA's overall, is to eliminate all of them. But as far as the schedule for that particular one, I don't have that information right now. But if you would, as part of your follow-up, if you would include that in your committee report to Christine when she gets back, Christine can run that up the flagpole and see if we can get an answer.
Right.
Martha? Do you have any further questions?
No, I thank everybody for it. I think this has been very thorough, and I appreciate everybody's hard work and waiting for the next phase. Thank you.
Yeah. I have to say, it's not lost on me that this is getting done in a year. I don't think I've seen a single capital project since I've been on this board that gets done in 12 months. So I have to say that is commendable, especially considering what it's going to look like when it's done. If there's anything that you need from us at Parks Department, throughout the project, if you want to, if you need to come back to us at some point with an update, which I don't think would be necessary, but if you do, we're gladly here. We're here to gladly listen to you. I'm just wondering, since we have all these wonderful parks people on the horn, I just wanted to see if you guys have anything else that we should know about that's exciting coming up down the pike, since you're all here. I know I'm putting you on the spot, but
I mean, the only thing is, I just want to, in general, manage expectations, because this happens to just be, we're starting construction and you caught us at this point. But generally, it does take a minimum of 3 years for capital projects. That's a year in design, a year in procurement, and a year in construction. And that's a minimum. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware. I think that's, if just in general, I don't mean to bring anything down, but like, as we come to other with other projects, CB6, what do you have? Barking lot? Is that you guys in Forest Park?
Kinda.
That 5? I'm sorry, I don't know the other
That's
projects.
okay. That's quite okay.
Okay.
Is the sprinkler on McDonough Park? Would that be you guys, or would that be somewhere else?
That is us. We received funding for it. It's in the. It will be one of many projects that has been funded, and right now we don't know when that would begin.
Okay. Also, I want to point out to this committee, committee members, one of your budget priorities that you had was more sprays for parks. That was one of the things you guys had wanted, more of those water sprays for the summer. And the good thing is this project is actually going to meet one of your budget priorities, because they are going to be putting more sprays in that park. I think that park didn't have sprays before. So this will be a budget priority met. And so I just wanted to kind of point that out. I see Edgar's hand. And then Martha also has a hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about, because it sounds like we're starting to talk about other capital projects. I know Heather, you'd mentioned that there. I think, or actually it was Christine that mentioned that there's something with Willow Lake Playground. There's some work or anticipated there that would maybe have something to do with the timeline for that playground being redone. So I wanted to learn more about that, or see if that's something we could talk about.
Which playground again? I missed that part.
Willow Lake Playground.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this at the budget consultation last week, because this committee had wanted to have some improvements done to Willow Lake, and you guys had advised us wisely to sort of put that on hold because there's some ongoing work there. Could you just give us a little summary on actually what is taking place at Willow Lake?
Sure. And it's not Willow Lake Playground, it's Willow Lake. It's the natural wetland area. So DEP is, and I'm not directly involved with it. So I mean, I haven't been in many of the conversations, so I'm going to give a broad overview. Really, our Flushing Meadows Corner Park administrator has been really in like he's the one who's been really involved in it. But basically, DEP has to put in a new force water main that goes from Kew Gardens Hills. There is one now, and it's been there for many years. And it basically pumps water. I'm not sure in which direction, but they have to replace it. And so they're putting that through, they're replacing it. It's in Willow Lake right now. As part of the mitigation, they're going to build a new bridge. They have to do a lot of just in general restoration of wetlands. So at the moment, any restoration that is planned for that area, the administrator was saying that we shouldn't really, there's stuff planned as part of the project. So we should wait until that project's completed before the board requests any additional information.
Okay.
I'm sorry, additional projects.
There was a question in the chat, and I'm going to jump to Martha about bathrooms at that park. Are they being renovated or not? I don't remember us talking about that. Forgive me if you did and I missed it.
That's okay. You mean in Flushing Meadows Corona Park?
No. At the 62.
The restroom is not being renovated.
Okay, so the restrooms are staying as is, no changes whatsoever. Just a power washing, right? We're gonna get a sexy power washing.
There's going to be a new water fountain that's put, it's surface mounted on the
Okay.
outside, and the grade up to the restroom is going to be regraded, so that way you don't have, that there's a smooth transition into the restroom. And then there's just regular, routine maintenance that we're going to be doing on it.
Okay. All right, Martha.
Yes. I just wanted to mention the parking lot or the parking lot. That's the Kew Gardens one by the overlook.
Yes.
That's where they have it. So that's the one she was talking about.
Can't wait for that. And then I see Anicia with your hand up. Anicia, hand up.
Yes, I just want to commend the good job they did at the Real Good Park, all the basketball area. It came out really nice.
Thank
That
you.
is Anicia. She will tell you when something is excellent. And remember though, she will also tell you when it's not so excellent. This is why we love Anicia. I just want to make sure, I didn't realize they've updated WebEx, and thankfully Kavish gave me a heads up that there were questions in the Q&A because we didn't always have a Q&A. You did address that there are swings for big kids on one side and there are swings for little kids over here to sort of keep them separate when somebody brought up the concern for competition within the park. And I think that, there's like what, five or six swings for the big kids? Is that about the number? Do we know the number?
I was just gonna, do you want me to share my screen again?
You don't have to, you can just
hold
give
it
us the number.
down.
Don't go crazy.
Well, I just shared it. Okay.
Okay. Go crazy.
Okay, so you're looking at my screen. So here on the 10-foot swings, it looks like 4 swings over here, and the 7-foot swings, it's 5 swings. So 2 strap, 2 bucket, 1 universal, like accessible swing, and then over here is 4 strap seats.
Okay. Okay, so 7 swings, 2 strap, 2 bucket, and 1 universal. Got it. I can read that now. Okay, good. And then one person was making a suggestion that for older kids, we look at maybe at some point, because this project is already scoped and frozen and you guys are well on your way, but maybe at some point when we do another project in this district, we look at pickleball, we look at volleyball, we look at things that maybe teenagers would be way more interested in.
Yes, pickleball was just an apple and some, what's the saying? Like, no one knew how big pickleball was going to be back when this first got funded. But yeah, pickleball is something that's being incorporated, and adult fitness equipment areas a lot of times now are being incorporated, and those can be also utilized by older children, like teenagers. So yes, yes.
Okay.
Quick question. Are any of for the special need children, is any of the swings for them or?
Yeah, so we have this accessible swing right here,
Okay.
and that's a universal seat for
Oh,
it's
okay.
bigger bucket, and then there's the little buckets, the regular buckets for infants and toddlers.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Seeing as the committee's asked all their questions, is there anything else, Kavish and Martha, or are we good to call it a night?
I actually had another question.
Okay.
So it wasn't clear to me the whole Willow Lake discussion because so you Heather mentioned that it was brought up about the playground, but then we're told not to do it because it was going to be some work on Willow Lake, but turns out that's Willow Lake, the lake, not the playground. Does that mean that we can continue to ask for this improvements on Willow Lake playground?
Yeah, I mean, if there's something that you're interested in, pursuing and you want to put into your budget request, your annual budget request, I'd recommend that you can put it in there.
No, yeah, I'm mostly trying to understand whether there is in fact a conflict.
Yeah, they had asked us, Pedro, when we were at the parks briefing, I think, to sort of hold that until some of the work was done, because I think there was concerns about unknowns that come up during projects, and they didn't know how long this would be. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, so it's Willow Lake, the natural area. So I think there's also the playgrounds, which is not part of the natural area.
Yeah.
Okay, so Willow Lake playgrounds, I don't know. I don't think, and someone again from Capitol can always jump in. I don't know if there's work planned for Willow Lake playground, like the playgrounds. So anything for the playground, there's nothing holding you back.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah, it's Willow Lake natural area in
The lake.
Flushing Meadows Corona Park.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, any more questions? Pedro,
Yeah.
thumb up.
No, yeah, and I also just wanted to once again reiterate the maintenance. I do understand there's like issues with budgeting and things like that. We were promised 1% of the budget. That didn't happen. Oh well. But mostly just like because I have been to several playgrounds, and I understand that maybe someone is going in there and cleaning them once a day, but I haven't gone to the Rosal Sage playground bathroom once. I have not been like disgusted just entering, and there's still no changing table in the men's bathroom. There's one in the women's bathroom, but not the men's bathroom. I went to Yellow Park playground. It was a similar situation, and it's just you have little kids. I don't really want to bring my kid into that bathroom. I usually just end up changing him in a table or a bench somewhere else, just because I don't really want to bring him in there. So definitely we need to do something about them.
Yeah, we actually have a mandate to put in changing tables in both men's and women's in every side of the restrooms, and the city is slowly doing that. So if it's not in there yet, then they will be, or it's possible they had been installed and then they were vandalized and they just weren't reinstalled. So I'm not sure in particular which, it sounds more like they weren't installed yet, but we are mandated to.
We'll also look at that too, because there's a few sites that we had where each site was surveyed, and if it didn't fit, meaning that people can't still come into the public restroom building, then we did not put in those locations. So I'll search back and just look at those two sites that you mentioned.
Yeah, just to be clear,
Yes,
the Rosal Sage men's bathroom on the outside, there is a picture of a changing table in there on it. So I don't know if there was one at one point and there isn't anymore, or if someone put up the sign but they never put in the changing table. And still, again, even with the changing table, I wouldn't want to bring my kid in there because it just smells awful and there's like water everywhere. I hope it's water. I don't know what it really is, to be honest.
Okay, well, thanks Mia for jumping in.
Thank you, Pedro, for that feedback. I think that's a tricky park because it's a very popular park. It's a park right next to a very highly populated middle school. and middle schoolers are interesting creatures. So I'm even wondering if maybe there was a changing table and maybe there was some kind of ridiculous middle schooler contest where it got ripped off the wall. I mean, sky's the limit, man, right? So we'll have to look into that. But I'm actually really happy to learn about this mandate. I was unaware of that mandate. That's a really wonderful thing. So thank you for that. Kavish, Martha,
Yeah.
this was a wonderful meeting. I want to thank you both. They are really great chairs. And I think, do y'all want to close this? Are we good, guys?
I just had a question about so there's some people in the Q&A asking if the parents will be able to ask questions. Now, is this the place for those, or is there going to be like a public meeting that you guys present to the board that
The school can coordinate that with the parents. When we were approached by the school, it was school and school leaders,
Okay.
which was fine, not a problem. But if it needs to be a bigger discussion with parents, then I think it would be good in the school's best interest to maybe try to coordinate something with parks so that parents could have that discussion. Because there may be something more specific that is outside of our ability to sort of manage. So Parks, does that make sense for you guys? If there's more questions that the school sort of communicate with y'all?
Yeah, that would be great if they could get in touch with us, and we're happy to speak to anybody.
Okay.
And if the school has any trouble reaching out to the parks and doesn't know exactly who to speak to, you can reach out to the office, and we will get back
To you no later than Monday evening. Okay, Kavish, Martha, Kavish?
I
What do
think
you say?
I think there's a lot of good questions. I think a lot of them got answered. For the sake of time, I'm okay with ending the meeting now. Martha, or
Martha, are you good?
I am good with ending the meeting. Thank everybody for coming here, and thanks for
Thank
the
you.
wonderful explanation and the presentation. And as always, it's very appreciative. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
Can't wait to
guys.
see the final product.
I think board members here, just